Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Jedi Academy. I'm Ranger J, 1999, part of the RSG crew. Glad to have you all here. If you're wondering what the Jedi Academy is, well, that's where we bring the best and brightest of game changers and YouTubers all together and sprinkle in a little bit of brain damage that is RSG, and we try to do nothing but answer your questions. This is a Q&A show for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. The way it works, if you have a question, all you need to do is write up your question. Make sure it is in the form of a question. The best way to do it is just put question in front of your statement so that we know when we scoop it up that is the actual question that you're wanting us to answer. And we will just keep going around the horn and giving each one of our great guests, our celebrity panel of folks, a question, and they will answer it and try to give you the best answer that we can. So if you have questions, now's the time to go and get them in. Just make sure you guys, at the beginning of the video here, that you make sure you give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out these other channels of these folks. We will allow them to pimp their stuff at the end of the Jedi Academy. So if you want to hear a little bit more about their channels, please go and wait till the end and listen for it, and they'll tell you where you can check out all the great stuff that they're doing. Scooping up the questions today will be none other than the one, the only, the troll extraordinaire, Dr. Finn Medicine Woman.
Good morning, people in the U.S., and good evening and afternoon to people elsewhere around the world.
Right? Like you don't know.
It's also morning in Canada.
No, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your communist states.
Yes. Good morning to the other countries that are in the same time zones or in the same relative UTC time zones as the U.S. as well.
Mm-hmm. Even though they're not as important.
Yeah, we don't.
That was much more politically correct until King Felix, but
yeah. So yeah. So you heard her voice there. It's Canadian communist herself, the maple syrup lover, the master of fiddling. T Money G is here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
And she was on time again. This is becoming a habit with you, T Money. I guess my influence is working.
I was late like a half a time. It wasn't even a full time, I don't think.
No, it's been a couple times, T Money.
It's early here.
Nice try, but you're not getting away with that. I'm not allowing that one. The other voice you heard, of course, is serving our great United States Army, the one and only King Felix.
Good morning to all, regardless of time zone. But the Americans are most important.
You're right,
Come on,
right.
be honest.
That's right. Another great patriot and American, and you know him and you love him. The great warrior from Warrior Presents is here.
What's up, you guys?
That's right. So go ahead and get your questions in. Quite a lot going on this week, guys. We got Django. They reduced crystal costs to refresh nodes. All kinds of stuff just popping out all over the place that they're doing. I've been very, very happy with CG this week, as a matter of fact. And singing their praises. I like some of the stuff they did. Damn it. I'll sing their praises when they do good. Is there anything that stood out to you? We'll start with the Warrior and just kind of work our way around. One thing that you kind of saw that you liked that they did this week, announced, or anything like that?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, but everything went to 8 nodes just recently, and now all the hard nodes are refreshable at 25 then 50 instead of 50 then 100, so they're reduced in half. And so, yeah, if you want to spend 1,100 crystals in farming the characters that are all available right now, then you'll be all right. And so that would be, I guess, a blessing, but kind of a backsided weakness is, if you have crystals, you don't anymore. And if you don't have crystals, it's not worth it for you anyway, because you just get to stare at the shiny lower levels and not really do anything anyway. So I don't know. It's really tough. There's so much new energy and it's all refreshable, and I'm finding myself spending 800 to 1,200 a day, and I'm like only farming 2 characters. It's kind of weird, like how much I'm going through, but I think that's the idea. So it's rough.
It's a hard knock life for warriors. What are you saying right now?
No, I feel bad for everybody who's not earning 1,000 crystals a day.
Right.
I'm earning 1,000 a day. So
Right.
for everybody else who's not getting first everywhere, they're totally, either not farming everything they possibly could, or they are and they're spending money right now. It's craziness.
It is craziness. Well, T Money, what sticks out to you this week?
I don't know. I think the character releases were fun. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I like these little puzzles that are being released. It's
yes, everyone's it's smart.
it's fun.
puzzles.
Like I love figuring out what's coming, and right now apparently we need some hints because it's not completely in the cards. A lot of things I find are obvious when a legendary is coming up or a marquee is coming up. You can kind of get a sense of what it is just by who's been released in recently.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I don't know. This one that's the most recent teasing. I'm sure we'll have a little talk about that, but I love the kind of buzz that happens in the community, and we kind of all get together and try and figure these things out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, what's your money on of who it is right now, T Money?
Well, I mean, does that mean if I could pay?
If you were going to make a bet, right? You had to throw down some of that hard-earned Canadian money. What would you say it is?
I want it to be Bounty Hunter Leia.
Bosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. There's lots of different guesses going around. She's not going to have synergy with anyone, and she wasn't really caught by the bounty hunters. There's that little Lego puzzle that has all the bounty hunters surrounding someone, and they said it's not Forlom, which is it Forlom, for LOM, who is for life, who is in a little Lego set with the rest of them. There's also a little Lego set that has most of those characters and a version of Vader and a cap ship, which that would be rad. I think it's time that we got another capital ship. Hey.
You're not wrong there. King Felix, what about you, buddy?
I was trying to figure it out. I actually did not get to watch any videos last night because I would pass out at like 8 o'clock. But trying to think of who it would be. It seems like they're on kind of filling in the gaps kick. So you filled in the gaps with the bounty hunters. Now everyone has got a rework or a whole new character has come out. And when we were talking before the stream, I heard OG Chewie, and I'd really be a fan of that if it was him, because I mean we have Clone Wars, Veteran Smuggler, Young Chewie. Like, fill the gap with Chewbacca and give us the real one and give us the real Millennium Falcon. Mm-hmm. And I'd be happy with that. As for capital ships, I think we need another one. But if we got a third Empire, I don't think that makes sense.
Well,
true.
Still need General Hux.
We need a lot of characters.
It's pronounced Hugs.
It is not Hugs.
He's kind of pale, sickly looking.
Hugs.
It's not Hugs. Stop it. How dare you speak of the First Order in such a way, T-Money. This is why you will never be the Supreme Chancellor. All right, so we got some questions coming in. Let's just start from the top. I'm going to let ladies go first today. And by ladies, I mean not Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman. So we'll start with T-Money. And this is from our good friend and your good friend, Keyboard the Planet Eater, T-Money. Question.
Hey, Keyboard.
Who is the most important Zeta to have out of AV and CLS? Both of them are for the Sith Raid.
Asajj Ventress's Zeta. I don't know which Zeta you're talking about, but either of them is the most important to have. So her unique gives that stacking offense every time somebody dies, and so that lets her hit, starting out at whatever 20,000 and ending at 120,000. Maybe that's an exaggeration. I can't quite remember right now, but she's got huge stacking offense, and then her lead is really necessary for P4 to work.
Yep.
So that's going to get you way more points than CLS.
Yeah, you can use him for Chex Mix And
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't really need the Zeta on him at all for check specs. He's just he's there as an attacker and his lead.
All right. Let's see here. Next one will go to Warrior. This is from Thoka. I think this is a pretty good one. Question for you, Warrior. How long do you guys think we will keep on having this boring Sith arena meta? Interesting.
I think there will be remnants of it, especially in the top 100, top 500, probably for at least another year. As far as the top 20, top 50, it'll probably evolve out by December latest. So I'm not talking fact. I'm just guessing here. Sometimes I cross very confident and people take it as fact. So I'm just, you asked me and I have no freaking clue. So, I do
David
feel
Ward, we thought you knew everything.
I think they're trying to, bring, a couple other teams that can really run, like Jango Fett, Jedi, they're able to compete. They're not maybe as good defensively, but they're a decent team. And I think they're trying really hard to bring in things that aren't going to break the game, but are going to provide a paper, rock, scissors situation. And so I think they're really trying hard to do that. And so I think by December they'll have achieved that enough that people will decide to do something different because they'll be kind of bored with it. But at the end of the day, my friend still runs CLS Rebel lead in the arena. He's free to play, top 200 free to play, and that works. It's what he has, and it's part of his path of farming characters because he goes after the legendaries, so which is what everyone does. And so he has all the rebels, and he's still using CLS, Han Solo, R2D2. It's just he even uses turret and base still. So it's. That meta was dead over a year ago, but it's not dead. It's actually meta still for a lot of people. I did a battle yesterday for him, and I had to go against another CLS Rebel team, in the top 200. So my metas are funny. People always think about meta. They always talk about what's in the top 20, but that's only a small fraction of the actual game players.
Yeah, when you expand the meta report out of GG, you see a little bit different trend when you start going from, rank 1 players, top 10 players, rank 1 through 10, and then rank 1 through 100. It really is interesting to see how it diversifies out and which characters are being used. All right, next question for you, King Felix. This is from Raza972. Question around the corn. What would be the best bounty hunter comp for dark side territory battle using only free-to-play tunes?
Well, it'd be the original ones that we had, which would be a Boba Fett lead with Greedo, IG-88, Dengar, and then you kind of just have to take your pick with Zam Wessler or Cad Bane. And I think with Zam Wessler's rework, she is the better pick now. But if you do Cad Bane, he can do okay as well, and plus he's got a ship now, so you're really gonna hit two places of the game if you use Cad Bane. And then once the rest of the bounty hunters get farmable, you're definitely going to want to throw Bosk and Embo in there, and Jango Fett in a year.
Yeah,
Boba
Christmas of next year, yeah. Okay,
yeah, Christmas of next year you can get Jango Fett too.
I finally did it. I unlocked Jango. Wait, there's 5 more bounty hunters?
Yeah. And the only Zeta you need on that team, and you don't even really need it, but Boba Fett's Zeta can almost go through territory battles by himself. So Boba Fett's your key there, and now that thermal detonators are undispellable, territory battles is going to get a whole lot easier because those stupid rebel pilots that cleanse every time won't be able to cleanse the thermal detonators.
There you go. Alrighty then. Back to the top 2 T-Money. This is from Sith Gorilla. And the question is, okay, any speculation on who the blocked out character is in the new CG teaser image?
If I
Final
actually,
answer.
Yeah, final answer. Maybe I'll go with Warrior and King and the OG Chewie. I want to give a shout out to Zam though. To try, maybe if your guild is solid in territory battles, try Zam as lead today in territory battles because she's actually amazing as lead with the thermals. She just really blows everything up. But yeah, Chewie. I'll take it OG Chewie. I'm all about that. But I do want a Leia. We've got a lot of Chewies, a lot of Hans.
Saying there's too much of a sausage party going on with all the characters.
Way too much of a sausage party. We need a viable Leia, please. We've got lots of viable Hans. We've got a viable Chewie now.
Yeah, we'll have the OG Han, OG Chewie, and the OG Millennium Falcon. I think we're all on agreement here. Anybody in the panel think that it's somebody else other than Chewbacca? Okay. Excellent. Next question for Warrior. Max Dog has a question, and the question is, any new good territory war defenses?
So territory war defenses, couple things on that. First, it literally evolves every month because the territory war meta changes every month for a couple of reasons. One, what was not available last month is now available. Two, what was available last month that a lot of people didn't get and couldn't use is now farmable, and so we're using and farming. We test and things don't work, or we test and things work with one team and then we use them again and they don't work the next team. So it is the fastest evolving meta I've ever seen. For what's also being used by the top 10 teams is not being used, most of them, by other people because, Team Instinct can throw the new scoundrels at 7 stars with Zetas in, but who else can do that other than top 10 teams, right? So Wall of Warriors, yeah, but not the rest of the things. So my strategies in my guild, first off, if I had something that was super overpowered, I wouldn't be able to share it, or I would be totally kicked out of Team Instinct. That's just the way it works.
Right.
Once it gets fleshed out, which happens with every strategy, it eventually gets known, gets fleshed out, gets sent down. Everybody talks about it. Then we can discuss it. But if I had something that was just super crazy, I wouldn't share it, and it would change anyway. I can tell you there was the one team that Mobile Gamer had on his channel, which is like a Kira lead with Vandor and L3, and it's like, this is the toughest team in the world, like nobody can beat it, and it's like amazing, and we just use our Imperial troopers to walk over it in 30 seconds on auto. So
right.
as long as you have range troopers. So it's like, I don't know. I find it funny because there's anything can be beat now by anything, and it's just about finding the right counters. But what I can say is synergies in territory wars, synergies win every time. Empire teams or Sith teams or Rebel teams or Scoundrel teams, like when you're pairing groups of individuals together by their synergistic nature, you're going to have better results than people who are trying to hodgepodge teams together. And there's nothing I can think of that stands out that hasn't already been fleshed out. I mean, people know, that we use, the triumvirate on defense, although other people are now starting to use them on offense. So they have a guaranteed win. We've used Jedi on defense, but I know a lot of people now that are going to use Jedi on offense. It's funny. It's like some teams want to have that guaranteed victory and don't mind losing on defense. Others want to have a better defense and then want to struggle on offense, and that's us. We try to put the very best defense we can think about out, and then we struggle on offense trying to figure out with what we have left over, what we can do. The good news is they've got so many dang characters in the game now, and the map is not expanded. I don't remember, but when Territory Wars first came out, at the high end, we had 35, not 20 teams we had to set. And so it took our entire roster to fill it, and then we just had nothing to win with. But we're at that point where I think going to a roster expansion would be a good thing now for the highest end again, because we now have enough characters we can do that on offense and defense.
All right. Next question for King Felix. What's the order, it's from Fat Tony 99, what's the order I should mod Jedi consisting of Bachelor Sean, both Yodas, Ezra, and GK for speed?
Asla, Ezra, both Yodas, right?
And General
Ezra,
Ezra and General Kenobi.
Right. Yeah. So you want your Hermit Yoda to be the fastest, and then you want Grandmaster to be second, and then Ezra third, Vasila, and then GK. You don't need GK to be fast, but you want Hermit Yoda fastest because then you can pick who is going to go first every day of the week. So if you wanted to throw, and it's just to do the basic, but you can even put Grandmaster Yoda even a little bit slower, because if you give him Grandmaster's training right off the bat, he's going to attack and gain, what is it, 40 or 50% team immunity? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but he does get
it's
it.
40 or 50%, and then it immediately fills him up, and he can do his battle meditation. He could remove turn meter on his, I think it's Master Strike. You can pick anything like that, but you definitely want Hermit Yoda to go first, because the more Grandmaster's training you can get up, it gives you the mass attack that you're getting twice now, because you have one with General Kenobi as well. And then you want Bastille to go pretty quick, because she can give Grandmaster Yoda all of his buffs, and then he can spread them around the whole team, and then that's when it gets pretty wild, because then you see Ezra hitting for 70k and Grandmaster Yoda hitting for 70k. And as long as you're not going against a Scion, those buffs are going to stay there.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Next question. Back to the top to T-Money. Question from Max Dog, and the question is, T-Money, what is the Zeta order for a good bounty hunter team?
So I'm assuming we'll talk about territory wars. I don't know. If you're going to go full maxed bounty hunters, that's a little bit of a different story. I think that in order to put a very solid bounty hunter team on defense in territory wars, you need the Bosk lead Zeta, and his unique is really good as well. Is it the unique? Is that his taunting one? His old Ben Zeta?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
As long as they have protection, he gets it back.
Yeah, he gets it back. That one is very useful in a territory wars environment, but it's the old Ben Zeta, so it's not super fantastic. But I think the Bosk lead definitely, and the rest of them, I'm not going to do any of the other Zetas, but I'm not a huge bounty hunter person outside of territory wars.
Tilt and go fat, and then you're going to do both Zetas.
Say again?
Nothing. I'm just messing with you. So until you get Django fat, and then
yeah. I like Django, but he's fallen out of favor for me this week a little bit. I went nuts. I was like, everybody's got to have this dude. Start saving your resources, and now he's still very, very, very good. But I don't think I'm going to gear them for arena and mod them for arena. It's too much, I have my EP lead, I have my Treya lead, I have my Bastila, and that's going to do me fine. It's bounty hunters. I don't need them. I'm not going to need them to climb. They're not going to hold on defense. So I'd definitely save your Zetas for. That said, the Bosk lead Zeta, I would look at the Django Zeta before the Bosk Zeta, definitely. It's one of those things where I feel like it's a little bit of a bait and switch, where we have, Grandmaster Yoda lead, Bastila lead, Bosk lead, Django lead. It's like, now I have these two leads, so I'm going to be gearing the rest of the bounty hunters so I can have two teams, really.
That's right, and you're going to like it too.
Let it be known that a character fell out of favor of T-Money before it was even released in
That's right.
Well, we got game changer status, and I went in and played on the test account, and I was running my Treya team against a bounty hunter team in the test account, and my Treya team didn't have like maxed mods and like insane speeds, and so I was, losing on auto, and that was astounding. And then I kind of, the noob in me was like, oh, wait a minute here, let's really dig in, and yeah, no, I remodded my Treya team, and now that's not the story anymore. So yeah.
All right. Next question for Warrior. This is specifically for Warrior from Nathaniel Miller. Question for Warrior. How many teams do you think CG is trying to get into the paper, rock, scissors mix for arena meta?
Well, paper, rock, scissors is 3. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing.
It's funny because he's right.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, yeah, it's like EP leads. A lot of times will beat Treya leads. Treya beats, on auto the Bastila leads, and then Bastila can just literally auto the EP leads, and so that's kind of the current state of the triple kind of spinning thing. And so I'm pretty sure that it's going to kind of stay like that. They don't want to introduce too many new amazing teams that are going to compete for that top spot because, especially like, for example, Treya, like that's still the raid chase for everybody. There's still a lot of people out there like me who don't have it 7 stars. There's a lot of people out there that don't have her. And so, I mean, like 80% of the community does not have her at all, like 0 shards. So like a top 20% are competing to try and get her shards, and many of them, of the 20%, don't even have her unlocked yet. So like, why would we want to ruin that meta when people are going to be chasing it for a long time? She's going to be a solid character forever with the Triumvirate. That'll be always a team that you can use anywhere in the game, I think, as a great team. But I think, to answer the question, I think they will try to keep it where there's only ever between 2 to 4, solid arena teams that are viable at the time. Because anymore, and it's too chaotic for the meta, and that would indicate that they had introduced too many overpowered characters, and that would be an off balance. But too few, and they become stale, and people quit the game. So I think 3 is a good lucky number that they're currently maintaining.
Okay. All right, next question for King Felix. Let's see here. From What Else 73, question. If we get a 4th Chewie, doesn't that mean we need to get a later 5th Chewie so Han and Chewie are even? God.
Yes, there will be 5 of each character in the game. We need more leaks. We need more Tusken Raiders. We need 5 Arurs. So we can stop with this team synergy nonsense, and we can just do character synergy.
God.
My Hans versus your Chewies. Yeah, well, here comes my Lukes.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, that's going to be the new meta. Warrior has no idea what he's talking about. It's just going to be character metas.
Oh, no. All right. Back to the top to T Money G. Let's see. This is from Blackbeard Premium R. Question. What is the best phase for Bastila in the Sith raid?
Best phase for Bastila. I'm not sure.
Say phase 5.
Yeah, I was thinking phase 5, but I use Grandmaster Yoda lead my Bastilas not at 7 stars. Does somebody have her at 7 stars who can speak to that?
In the Sith raid?
Yes.
It's funny, I used her for the very first time in my life yesterday. I forgot she even was 7 stars. I was like, oh, the Sith raid's going. I better go in. I was with my family last night, and I'm like, I better just go in and do at least a couple mil damage. So I went into phase 2 because that's where they were at, and I threw in my Jedi, and I used my Bastila lead Jedi team, and I got over 3 million, and it's the first time I've ever used them. And I know phase 2 is easy to get millions of damage, apparently, but I was impressed for myself because, I was one, I don't mod my characters for to the raid, and two, to just easily with an idiot brand new for the first time trying it in phase 2 get over 3 mil. I was like, okay, I like that, and yeah, and it got me enough to get my furnace. That got my furnace for my nest finally for the first time, getting a furnace in the game. So I got my Gear 12 Plus furnace on this of it. So, I see people posting 5 mil picks and stuff pretty easily in I think phase 1 and also in phase 2. Phase 3 was where I saw a 5.1 million picture last night from another player. So I think they're one of those teams that can play most phases pretty solid damage.
Yeah. It's phase 1 or phase 2. I think there's no. We're fine on that. Okie dokie. Next question. We go to Warrior. This is from Decepticons. Oh my god. Get the Autobots. From Decepticons. Question. Does L337 need to be fast being a tank? And is her Zeta worth it?
Her Zeta is not necessary. It's a total luxury Zeta that I don't recommend unless you end up getting it to the point where you're using her a ton in the game or we're using her ship a lot, which the ship's amazing and people are farming it now. So there's a chance you might want to do it for that. But it's a total luxury Zeta. Don't need it. And no, she does not need to be fast because her kit. So you don't need that at all. What you need is health. Lots and lots and lots of health. Get her to like 50,000 health with Gear 12 Plus or 44,000 health ish without it, and people will hate you forever because of it.
All right, next question for King Felix. Excuse me. This is from JJ the Crazy Neko. Question: why can't I beat the IPD node in territory battles? I have Veer Zeta. All Imperial Troopers 7-star, with the exception of Death Trooper. Is it bad RNG, or I'm not using the right Imperial Trooper team?
Well, Death Trooper is very important in that team, and especially in that battle.
Yep.
Although I'm of the camp that I believe they recently made that battle more difficult. I think about, probably 3 weeks ago. I used to just walk through it just fine because my Imperial Troopers are pretty damn good, and then I got wiped out in like phase 3, and I was very confused and alarmed. But you definitely want. It's basically you're looking at Veers, Stark, Shore Trooper, Death Trooper, and Snow Trooper seem to be the best 5. Although I'm interested with Range Trooper. I don't have him to 7 stars yet, unfortunately, but he seems pretty interesting. And my guess is they kind of popped up the difficulty level on some of these battles and territory battles because they were starting to get kind of easy for some guilds just walking through and getting max stars or close to max stars. But you need to get Death Trooper in there. I know he can be kind of a pain on that one node. It doesn't seem to have the best drop rates, but he's an amazing character, and he's all anti-rebel. So I'm going to go ahead and say you need to get the Death Trooper in there and at least a Gear 11.
Well, yeah, because the way you do it with Death Trooper in there is you when you get to the last round, you burn Han, right? Then you Death Mark Leia, burn her out. Then it's just CLS, and then you just burn him down. There is a kill order that you have to follow with that as well. And if you don't have Death Trooper, it makes it a hell of a lot harder to do it because not only can he hit him with his grenade that does what it needs to do, but and you need to have your guys geared. If they're not Gear 11 plus, you're in for a fight of your life because on that last phase, once that rebel gets going and you don't have any way of really hitting them hard and getting them out of there, you're going to get smoked. It's just that they've made it that hard. So gear and mods are very important too. I think I got my Stark to like 240 speed, so he's going as fast as hell with the buffs and get the other guys going. So, yes, I had the same thing happen to me. All right, back to the top two, the Canadian Mistress herself, Team Money G. Let's see. This is from Wargle 128. Question, Team Money. Right now, my nest has a speed set and health set. If I can match the speed on a defensive set, would it be better than the health set it currently has?
No. I have my nest at 52,000 health right now, and the last Territory Wars we were in the Territory Wars Discord server, and the leader told me that he had to specifically send in an Imperial probe droid to blow my nest up, because there's, if you have Bastila on defense, if you have Darth Nihilus on defense, if you have Death Trooper, if you're using that against Traya, what else are you going to use to take down a 52,000 nest? So if you can get her super, super fast and healthy, that's what her bonus protection is based off of. When it's a buff, it's based off how much protection you have, but if it's actually true bonus protection, it's based off how much health she has. So yeah. And then with her Zeta, she's regaining that health all the time. So you've got that kind of double whammy of you having to get through this massive amounts of purple bonus protection because of her health. And then once you actually get down to no protection, then you still have 52,000. You still have to hit her for 52,000 with one tune. So that's my proudest little mod set right now.
There you go. Science. Next question to Warrior. This is from Michael J. Or Miguel J. Mikael. So I don't know if that's Michael or Michael. You get it, MJ. We're gonna call you MJ. Question. What team is the best defensive team with Traya, Darth Nihilus, and Scion against a mix of Night... Okay, this question's weird. Hold on, let me figure out what he's writing here. Okay, what team is the best defensive team with Traya, Darth Nihilus, Scion, plus X against a mix of Nightmare Bastila team? I'm getting Traya soon, and my shard is new, so not many others have her.
So if you're running a trail lead, which is what you want to do against Bastila, because Bastila's going to take a lot of out of turns, and so they're just going to naturally kind of kill their own bonus protection off by going, and you'll be durable because you'll be regenerating health on your side and stuff too. So, and she can put up protection backup and stuff, especially Traya herself can. She gets tons of bonus protection. So you'd run trail lead. I've been running trail lead for a long time now, actually, and everybody's running EP lead still in my lead, and they have a hard time with my team. But for you specifically, the +2 probably you're going to need Sith Trooper. Against Bastila, it works really, really well. And then Thrawn, the control piece of Thrawn plus tank that's sitting there constantly regenerating his taunt is really annoying. And you can't put buff immunity over his head because it just gets cleansed at the start of his turn. So, yeah, that would be the +5. For me specifically, I actually use that exact setup, but I took out Sith Trooper and put in Nest, a really fast Nest, because that ensures that I always have control in arena. And for people that are going against me, they immediately lose control at the beginning of the battle because I'm the one that goes first, and then I'm the one that's increasing cooldowns, and then I'm the one that's fracturing, and then you know what I mean. It's like it's a you fall downhill fast if you don't have control. And so I've got 2 control pieces in the back. I've got Nest and Thrawn. But if you don't have Nest, I would put Sith Trooper, just because he's really annoying to go against. Not even hard to beat, just stupid annoying. And yeah, it takes like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes of battle with him. It's just stupid.
It is. All right, next question, Max Dog. This is for you, King Felix. Question: what are some good teams to beat trade teams with SIT and Territory Wars?
Yeah, it's the triumvirate with Sith Trooper is what he's asking.
Trying to figure out that acronym, little abbreviation there.
I mean, you can do it with a Palpatine lead. You can do it with a Trey lead. There are some people who have good enough rebels. I'm not one of those people. My rebels aren't that good. But it depends on what you're putting. If you're putting your own Traya, your own EP on defense, that's where the walls kind of kick in. If you have a maxed out JTR, you can still do it. I've seen, and then some people have been using what is it? The Zeta Finn. They take it back, and I think there's a video of it with just 3 resistance characters beating a triumvirate-led team. So it's kind of going to depend on what you have and what you put on defense. But Palpatine, your Traya, or if your resistance is fast enough, they can do it as well. But it's going to depend on your mods. It's going to depend on your, what you're setting on defense, what you have left. I've gotten lucky a couple of times with a Rex Wampa team in Territory Wars, able to beat the Triumvirate, but it's not a good idea to use that team there. I don't know if there's a team I'm missing. Maybe somebody else can chime in, but Trey is the meta for a reason.
I mean, Thrawn Magma Trooper can beat her.
I've never been able to get that team to work consistently.
Well, I got my Magma. I was doing it with Gear 11 Magma, but I just took them to Gear 12 and stuff. So yeah, it's just about understanding how it works, and you need Death Trooper in there, but Thrawn lead with Magma Trooper and the rest it can be done. Yeah, absolutely. You can beat trade teams with that team. You have to know what you're doing. You have to just keep hitting Scion and controlling the turn meter and stuff. But yeah, it works pretty damn well.
And the key with that team too is it's magma. It's speed. You have to have Thrawn and Death Trooper really fast, so that Thrawn can swap turn meter with Death Trooper. But then Thrawn still has turn meter because he needs to fracture someone. Mm-hmm. So that piece is key. And then Magma Trooper needs to have tons of potency. You want him to have 100% potency or above.
Yeah, I think mine's well over 100. I was not messing around with that. I put tenacity and potency on them.
Yeah, tenacity is not as important.
No, but that's what I was focused on.
If you're resisting Nest, then that's awesome. But you actually want him to have pain, because if he doesn't, and Sith Trooper taunts, then you're completely screwed. Like you can't make any mistakes in that team.
All right, let's see here. Back to the top to T Money G. This is from Stevie T, and he says, "I'm seeking some advice, please. I'm about to Zeta Thrawn Ebb and Flow, but some people say it's not good and ruins him versus trade teams in arena. Is that true? I'm assuming it's still good for raids, even if not good for arena. Can you help old Stevie T here out?"
Yeah, no, that's my camp, is that I did Zeta Thrawn Ebb and Flow about maybe a month before we started using Magma, and what happens is his counter chance goes up to 100% when he has fractured someone, and then he's just giving speed up to everyone. And the key with Traya lead with any of the counters versus Traya, because they have that critical hit avoidance, the key to them is controlling their turn meter and overcoming the crit avoidance, but more so they're controlling their turn meter. So if you're giving speed up to a bunch of tunes to which you're trying to control their turn meter, obviously not a good idea. And then also if it's Thrawn's turn and he doesn't have any of his specials ready to go, and his cleanse special isn't ready to go, specifically with that Magma team, then you're like, okay, well, who am I going to give speed up to on this team across from me? Scion, the one that I'm trying to kill first, or maybe, Darth Nihilus, who I'm like terrified has Annihilate, ready to go, or, so I usually give it to Sith Trooper if that's the case, so that he kind of powers through his taunt if that happens to be up. But I don't, unless you're trying to help your guild get through the tank raid, I do not think that Thrawn Ebb and Flow is in the top 50 Zetas for me at the moment. Yeah, definitely no.
All right. Next question to Warrior. This is from Blackbeard Premium. Question: what's the minimum gear needed for Geos to be competitive in ships?
Oh, I was actually just doing this with my friend SureShot, who's free to play. He has his ship abilities all at level 7, which is relatively easy to get to. It's the level 8 that's difficult, and the only one you need at level 8 that is like an absolute must are the uniques, because the 3 uniques are what give the Hive synergy to the 3 Geos. And so you're going to have at least 60 ship Omegas for those 3 abilities, for those 3 uniques. It's the bottom right ability that's the unique. And then as far as the characters go, you can't level up the character's ability on the ship until you level up the gear, and you have to get them to at least gear 11 to unlock all of the abilities maxed out, gear 10 for almost maxed out, and then gear 9 for most of the up to like level 5, which is probably sufficient for now. So my goal for people would be gear 9 for the characters, and to get to gear 9 is actually Geo Soldier is to date like in the top 3 easiest farms in history as far as gear goes. Still, just like Rex. Rex you can get really high really quick. Geo Soldier you can get really high really quick. Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, these are all super easy gears in comparison to other characters. So Geo Soldier should be a walk in the park. In fact, you should be able to drive him up to gear 10 pretty easily. As far as Spy and Sunfac, another story, they're both a little more difficult. So gear 9 would be your initial target, and then just kind of passively work on them, get them to gear 10 if possible. Sunfac you will eventually want to take to gear 11 because you want to max out that stun ability that he has. And then the reinforcement ability on Sunfac is the only one of the 3 that you'll ever want to work on for now, because you will find at times you want to change your composition up and have Sunfac come in from reinforcements, and so that's the only one of the 3 that I would do reinforcements on. But the unique max, the rest at 7 on ships, and then the characters to gear level 9 with Sunfac eventually going to 11 and Spy going to 10, and eventually if you can get them all maxed out, but that's priority.
Yeah, there was a question to follow up with that one from same person. What is the Omega ship? What is the Omega order for your Geo ships?
What's the order for Geo ships for what?
Omegas.
For their Omegas.
Oh, I just told you.
I just want to make sure. I don't know if
none of the Omegas matter, but the uniques. I mean, the uniques are the most important because that's the Hive mentality. So, I mean, you have to hyper focus on their uniques until they're done. Like, you could have their basic at gear level 1, like or Omega level 1 or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the Hive mentality, because that's where they go from being mediocre to good. And then once you have their uniques maxed out, which takes 60 Omegas, by the way, that's why I said it's terrible. After that, then you're going to want to move over to their basic for a couple reasons. One, they're going to call a lot of assists, and you're going to use the basic a ton, so that's what you want to max out for. And 2, the other one, the crew power, is going to be limited based on your gear anyway, and so you're probably not even going to be able to max those out yet anyway. So you go unique first, and then you go into the basic. You can read the basics and kind of see, who's got what and what you like preference-wise, but it doesn't really matter. For me personally, I did Spy first on the basic, and then Soldier, and then Sunfac, and but you guys can pick out your own choice. It's just Spy does the most damage, and Soldier's the next highest damage dealing ship. So the basics, maxing those out in that order: Spy, Soldier, and then Sunfac. Okay. And then, like I said, yeah, Sunfac's crew power is really important, so you definitely want to get him to gear 11.
Okay. Next question for King Felix. This is from All Me. Question: by any chance the Empire bounty hunters from the image are for the OG Falcon? And you are all awesome for helping the community, by the way. Well, thank you for the kind words. So I'll read it again. Any chance the Empire bounty hunters from the image are for the OG Falcon? What do you think there, Felix?
I like the idea, especially because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only ship that's been released that hasn't been a marquee was the Chimera. Obviously, other than when they released everything right off the bat. But it's interesting. We don't have any legendary ship, events like we have for the characters. So that would be interesting. I'd wonder how they would do it, because not all the OG bounty hunters have ships, and if you're doing characters versus characters for a ship, I don't think they would do that. But it could be the OG Falcon could be the first legendary ship. It would be a good choice for the first legendary ship, and it's all depending on how they'd want to do that. Maybe you're fighting the rebels through Cloud City, and then the final battle you go. You follow the Millennium Falcon. I'm not sure how they do that, but that would be awesome, and we desperately need the original Millennium Falcon for sure.
Okay. Next question to T-Money. This is from Dojo-san, and the question is, what is your favorite team to use to take out First Order teams in Territory Wars?
Well, my favorite team that we're really not allowed to use these days, because she's good so many places, and there's other teams to take down First Order, is Rey. Rey is a guaranteed win against a crew lead team. I don't care who's on the other side or what your gear is on Rey. It's a very easy team to control with her lovely days and the speed on the Rey team. The one that I use the most is probably GK Barriss Wampa. But sometimes I'm losing GK to other teams, so then I go to Palpatine. But Crew's one of those guys that it's like, as defense changes and shifts and offense needs change, they kind of get the dirty end of the stick. Kind of have to learn how to take them down with as little as possible. I think most guilds, and if your guild does not have all of their First Order officers above 235 speed as a base speed, go and do that, because people are just going to mow through them with OG resistance, with Cetaphil resistance, especially with Nest on defense a lot. Then it makes it much more difficult to take down a Traya team with OG resistance. So make sure that your crew are protected, but there's lots to take them down. But they're a really well modded one is tricky. Is a beastie.
Okay. Next question for Warrior. This is from Jacob Gunter. Question: what are the best mods for 5-star Traya? Right now I'm running CD and CC sets plus 101 speed with a protection triangle and offensive cross.
Sounds pretty solid. So counter to what lots of people think in mods 2.0, everyone thinks that now protection's trash in mods 2.0, and they're going health and all of that. That's true in certain circumstances, but protection is still the greatest, thickest shell you can put on a character for arena, for like that burst damage and stuff. And so protection's not a bad idea. Definitely the circle protection. As far as mod set, we'll start there. Mod set, you definitely want an offense set, in my opinion. Offense set, just to raise her overall base damage that she's doing to everybody. And then crit chance set. And the reason why I do crit chance and then I do a crit chance triangle is when she's hitting all the other characters across the way and you're probably going against other Traya leads, it doesn't make sense, right? Because you're not critting. You're like, this is stupid. She has crit avoidance over there, so like you're not able to actually crit. So it's kind of worthless. So there's this worthless factor that people think, but that's not true in Territory Wars. In fact, you're not running Traya versus Traya in Territory Wars. And so when you do this and you go crit chance real high and a crit chance triangle, when you're in arena, they're probably running Thrawn. You can hit Thrawn for 60 grand. I've done it with her triple, lightsaber throw, and she can't do that against the others because she's not critting. But it's pretty much a guaranteed crit to a non. And when they have Nest, I can one shot their Nest with that shot. It's insane. So crit chance and offense is huge, because when she hits a particular character. Huge. When she hits a particular character
I love I did that.
That isn't Sith, then I know I sound like a developmentally disabled, but she hits somebody who's not Sith, they're not going to have the crit avoidance, and it's going to be a massive power hit. And so I went all in on offense. And then for the arrow I did speed, and for the cross I did offense. So that way I could boost the offense again. And then that offense, if you can get it to 8.5% and do her other offense square on the top left to 8.5%, get them to 6E mods, just watch the magic. It's amazing what offense on her, 3 different, 6E mods do with offense secondaries. You do want her fast, so secondary speed is priority for the secondary stats. And if you can get at least plus 80 speed on her, that's good, but preferably in today's meta, if you can get her over 100 speed, that would be optimal. Mine only has 80 speed on her, but I have offense, and like I said, I one-shot most people's Thrawn with her lightsabers. That's I'll have hit him a couple times, done only a little bit of protection damage, and then I just throw my sabers, finish him off, and move on. It makes arena very easy. And in non-arena, when you're talking territory wars, people are trying to do those cheese teams and stuff, and that works. But the opposing team, if she gets a chance to throw those sabers, she's one-shotting somebody across the way, and that really throws a wrench in their plans for attempting to try and take out your Traya team. So yeah, I'm of the mind offense with crit chance, with a crit chance triangle, offense cross with a protection circle. And if you're going territory wars, you might take the protection circle off and put a health circle on.
All right. Next question for King Felix. This is from World Goal 128. Question: what is the JTR comp that can beat Traya?
It's the standard one, but you have to have ridiculous mods. JTR BB-8. I've seen a lot of people put Poe in as the 5th instead of Scavenger Ray for the buff immunity and the turn meter reduction.
No, I don't like that.
I've seen it. There's one guy in my arena shard who still gets number 1 with his JTR, and I mean it's like 30 seconds on offense for me, because it's just not. He doesn't hold anything against these trades. He drops in like the 30s, but he climbs every single day with his JTR team. And let me check real quick what he's using on there. But you have to outmod everyone on your shard, or else it's not even going to come close to working.
No.
Like, I mean, it's easier to use Bastila. Bastila can do it, but so he's using Rey, the 2 droids, General Kenobi, and Thrawn, and he's able to get to the top every day.
Now we had a video. What was it? JTR with all droids. Finn, we ran this week on the RSG stream with what was it? BB-8, R2, or the other 2 droids.
It was a T3.
What was the 5th?
The 5th one was IPD.
IPD. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you go back and watch the Wednesday night stream, you'll see that team it wrecked Trey. I was like, good God.
There is some mod dependency there too, right? So your BB-8 does need to be fast in order to start to get everything kind of rolling. Your R2 helps too. So it's not as mod depending because the base speed of BB-8 is pretty high. So you can usually get him to go first under a Jedi training Rey, but it does require kind of some speed. It's not like you can just go in considerably lower mod-wise.
There you go. All right, next question. Back up top to the Canadian Communist herself, T Money G. Chopper BZ. Question. What are some fleet counters versus Geo Spy, Geo Soldier, and Houndstooth starting fleet with at least a Sunfac in reserve? What do you think there, T Money? What's a good counter to that?
Well, I watched Warrior's video, and that's beautiful. And Chopper probably has. I bet you have that. Chopper's got it all, and that's Houndstooth and the Xanadu, and who's out front? Ghost or Warrior?
Yeah, it's Ghost, and there's a ton of that I'll let you talk about it, but what's funny is I had a guy comment on my video that I don't know anything about ships. By the way, that video came after I did 150 battles with every possible comp, known demand. So I can give you 100 reasons why that comp's going to be one of the strongest territory war defense comps in the world.
Oh yeah, let's hear them. Let's hear all 100 right now, Warrior. Go.
Oh snap!
No, I've been playing it in the test account, and it's great. It's a great team, and for my brain is always on territory wars. It's for me, I like to have my geos on offense, and geos all three out front with Admiral Akbar. They completely walk through that. This whole Tarkin is better than Akbar with the geos. I don't know. That is just wrong. I'm just like, maybe it's because people have their Tarkin and their Akbar maxed. Maybe this is why. But I have all of his abilities maxed. All of the ship abilities that I need to have maxed, and I can still win a battle in like 25 seconds with Akbar. And the three geos out front with Akbar, just they're completely fine with Houndstooth out front with the other two geos. I don't have any problem with it. My spy is gear 11. The other two are gear 12, and they've got everything that they need. They've got all the bells and whistles. I do like the Houndstooth out front with them, especially in a territory wars environment, just because you definitely need to have a bunch of offense there, and lots of people are sticking their Geonosians on defense, so it can be tricky to go. If two guilds have their two Geonosians and the Houndstooth out front, well, what are you gonna do after that? Well, you do need Tarkin and Vader and that nice boost that Tarkin gives to offense. So that's play around with that for sure.
All right.
I can tell you that if you had your test account and you used your geos with Admiral Akbar, you can't touch the composition I built if everything's maxed out. It's physically impossible. I've tested it. I film it. Make sure your side is maxed out. Make sure the other side is maxed out. The characters, their abilities, the ships, you will lose in less than 30 seconds on auto with that team. I put the challenge out. I've got literally hundreds of people trying to beat it. I've given up for my team $100 for the first person who can do it. The problem is people are using it on their own arena teams, and they're going against less than or sub-modded or not fully maxed out characters, and that's just not a good comparison. And you got to make sure you're using the exact composition that I used in the video with the same reinforcements and everything with Phantom 2 and TIE Advanced and things like that.
I gotta get one of my accounts on the same ship chart as you so I can kick your butt.
Yeah, I would love for that.
I mean, that would be like $400 Canadian money if you won that $100 US team money.
Instead of $100, you should just join Team Money's guild.
Oh yes, I would take that.
That's not happening. Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah.
Can I pay you $100 American to join my guild? I would probably do that.
Yeah, that's not going to work. Nice try, too.
It would save me.
Quit recruiting people on our streams, Team Money. I'm sick of it.
Thanks, babe.
All right. Next question for where this is from wait a minute. Slart Ibart Fast. I can't even read.
Sorry.
Just what's up with some of these names? All right, Warrior. From Slart, but it's called Slart. Question: the opposing tray always gets my Nihilus. What am I doing wrong?
You're not doing anything wrong. What's happening is you're getting debuffed, and then you're getting bonus health, and then their Treya goes, and she always targets the highest health and protection character, which happens to be your Nihilus, because your Nihilus is growing in health. So the only way to really alleviate that, in my opinion, is to have a faster Thrawn that you can then just fracture their Treya. That's what I do. I fracture their Treya. And then she's the first person I annihilate. So that way she's out of the battle the entire time, and it makes it easy peasy, lemon squeezy for the battle. But you're getting debuffed. Your Nihilus is getting really high health and protection immediately, even higher than Scion, and so that's who she's going to target.
Okay. Next question will go to King Felix here. Guys, make sure you keep getting your questions in. Let's see here. This is from Jane's Bachelor. And the question, King Felix says, question: what is or was the 12 days of spring event? The achievement is sat unfinished in the tab and is driving my OCD mad. P.S. Big fan of the RC content. Keep up the fantastic work. Well, thank you for that, James Bachelor, for those kind of words. Can you feel this?
So I've heard of this. I did not. I was one of the people who got it removed from their achievements when they did that, because I joined. I think it was either during or right after it, because I'm not a day one player. But I know not everyone got it removed from their achievements, and I feel your pain, because that would drive me insane as well. But it was an event that happened shortly after release, I believe, and right before I joined or right before I downloaded the game. And they just don't have the event anymore, so you will never be able to finish it. Your OCD will keep driving you crazy, and you will end up sending 1 million tickets to CG shortly to have them try to remove it, because you will never finish that event. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know. Warrior, were you, and Ranger, were you guys around for the original 12 Days of Spring?
Oh yeah.
That was.
We're OG players. Hey, Warrior, remember back in the day, Warrior, when we didn't have protection?
It was amazing.
What?
No,
I walked to school uphill both ways.
Hey, Warrior, remember when we didn't have mods? Damn hippie kids today, they're stupid mods. Alright, let's see here. Next question, we go back to the top to T-Money here. From Woodle Torin. This is a Zeta question, T-Money. So put on your Zeta hat or your aluminum foil. Yoda Battle Meditation, Gear 12. Hermit Yoda, 5 stars, Gear 11, Strength flows for an additional Jedi.
Whoa. Okay, start that again. That was way too fast for me. I'm sorry. That was rude. Go ahead. Can you start again, please? Yoda Battle Meditation. I got that much.
Let me start from the beginning. Yoda Battle Meditation, Gear 12. Hermit Yoda, 5 star, Gear 11, Strength flows for an additional Jedi Arena team. Or should I do Nest first, Gear 11, 3 star, as a plug and play for Arena?
Ooh.
Pick me, you will.
I think so. I love the Nest Zeta, Nest, Bastila, Treya, General Kenobi. Those are the only 4 characters that I've had maxed with all of their Zetas. I know GK doesn't have a Zeta, but completely maxed the first day that they came out, pretty much. I like the Nest Zeta. It's one that you're going to want to have. She is not as useful without it at all. But if she's at 3 or 4 stars, then really she's an offensive toon at that point in time. She's not a really great defensive toon. But she's so incredibly versatile. The Strength flows from the Force is an incredible Zeta. It's definitely, it's I'm sure it's one of my top 10. It's just a really wonderful gain in health and protection, and it's cornerstone to any Bastila team. If you have Hermit Yoda at 5 stars, I'm imagining that Bastila is maybe quite prevalent in your shard, and so he fits on there so nicely. So I'm not going to pick for you because I would need to. I don't recommend Zeta. I tend not to recommend any Zetas until I can really look at somebody's roster and see where the rest of the stuff is, because Zetas are so precious. But both of those are great. Nest is kind of a long-term Zeta, because it doesn't really shine until she's 6 or 7 stars and has like some of her Gear 12 pieces. The Strength flows from the Force. You'll see the benefit from that immediately.
All right. Next question for Warrior. This is from Max Dog. Question, Warrior. Since your defenses are top secret in Territory War, any teams you save strictly for offense?
They're not top secret. I mean, Secrets. Everybody on here can talk about the basic teams, like the Bastila team I talked about, Jedi and the Triumvirate, and of course there's scoundrel teams, with bounty hunters on this stuff. So that's the same. I think everybody is aware of that. Plus, there's servers that are dedicated to passing around what Team Instinct is running, which is kind of silly.
What?
Yeah, so that is, but so they see us, they see what we have, they go through it, and then they report it to everybody, so that way the other whale guilds know what we're running, so they can plan and prepare. We don't have that advantage because we're not in those conversations, but offensively, I mean, it's so this is the problem with this question, and I appreciate you asking it, but what are you running on defense? That's what you're going to run on offense, is the opposite of what you ran on defense. Do you see what I'm saying? What I'm running is totally different from what you're capable of running. I have a 4.6 million GP. I have way more teams. And I don't have specific go-to teams except for a couple, which I use. And so, for example, like I run First Order on offense. I like First Order on offense. I like running my Ewoks on offense. I like running my Resistance, both Jedi Training Rey's on offense. Most people still put her on defense. I use her on offense. I use Finn on offense. In fact, I have so many teams on offense that I can get 20 points with. I'm constantly told to stop because I get over my 102. We're only allowed 102 points each because they want everyone to be able to play. And I get 120, 122 points, because of ships and stuff, and then they're upset because I took more than my fair share.
How dare you?
So I know. So
Team Instinct is like Little League soccer. Everybody wins.
Well, they what they want is they want everyone to have practice, and the only way you get good at territory wars battles is by doing it, not by riding on the coattails of everybody in your guild, because that doesn't make you a good player. It makes you a crappy player. So we believe everyone should participate when possible, so that way they can learn how to actually win, because if they can't win, then they're really not Team Instinct material to begin with. So if you can't successfully run 4 or 5 teams in in territory wars offensively, then we don't really want you, because territory wars is all that matters to Team Instinct now. Nothing else matters to them. So I get it. Like, they want me to, do 4 battles plus a ship's battle. That's 5 battles and be done. But occasionally, things get sloppy and they need someone to come in and clean things up. And that's where I would come in with some other people and we would clean up some of the messes. And I don't always get perfect. I mean, sometimes I go against a Traya team that gets the better of me and I get a 10-pointer or a 15-pointer, and it happens. But what I'm able to use on offense is different than other people, because I have that freedom and luxury to basically have every single character in the game at gear 11. Actually, I have every single character in the game at gear 11, with 2/3 of them. With 2/3 at gear 12, and I have Jango Fett at gear 13. Whoever just said that. I have him 8 stars.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's a giveaway from Mobile Gamer, so I got it from Mobile Gamer.
Well, maybe one day Mobile Gamer.
Ranger was 12-starring characters the other day. So.
Word. See, I'm representing you. All right. Next question for King Felix. With all the new stuff that is supposedly coming in the next few months, how are you handling Zetas? Are you saving them for something potentially coming, or are you spending them as you're getting them on characters?
So I am a hoarder, especially because there was, for the last 4 months, there's been nothing that has piqued my interest to do. So for reference, I've taken my Ewoks out of my favorites about 5 different times just because, I needed a new project. But right now I have 3 Zetas saved. I just used one on Bosk is unique because I'm going to double Zeta Jango Fett most likely, because that's something that really piques my interest in the game. And at my point, I'm doing fun things and not necessary things, because I did the necessary things. So I am saving everything. I'm saving a crap ton of gear. I'm saving Zetas. But depending on where you are, you got to check all those boxes first. You need to have your JTR team Zeta. You need your Jedi team Zeta. You need your Sith team. And I was one of the holdouts for Traya. I didn't Zeta my Traya lead until last weekend. I was just running Palpatine or Bastila, but I was falling a bit too far for my liking, so I Zetaed Traya, and now everything's stabilized again. But I still have 3 Zetas saved, and I'm gonna do Jango Fett. And with all the new marquee characters that have coming out and the legendaries that are gonna follow it, you're gonna want to save some, because when Darth Malak comes out and he blows Trey out of the water, or when Revan comes out and he just destroys everything in his path by himself with no other characters, as he should. You're gonna want to Zeta those
at
characters.
gear 1.
Gear level 1.
Gear level 1.
Level 1, gear 1.
Oh.
His unique will be everyone runs away in terror like Hermit Yoda. They're just gonna come in and then disappear. Victory. So I do believe you should save at least like one Zeta, but if your guild needs you to Zeta somebody for Sith raid, if you're still doing that, if you're still trying to get that on farm, and I know there's some people who are still struggling with hat. So do your Zetas for your guild, and then once you get to your point where your guild is fine and your arena is fine, then you can start playing around with some fun stuff, and you can do Ewoks if you want to. Phoenix is another really good team that once you Zeta them, it takes like 3 or so Zetas, and then that's a huge piece that you can have. So
yeah,
but I'm a hoarder. Doesn't work for everybody.
All right, back up top to T Money. Hey. Wargo 128 says, question: What is a use for accuracy arrows? As I keep getting them from these events, are they as useless as I think they are?
Yes. I keep thinking, but I just maybe have a little bit too much. I think of CG and the people who make this game as like these like crazy like mad scientist genius developers who are like, mwahaha, 3 years from now we will have the accuracy meta. So like if you have an accuracy arrow with speed secondary that rolls to like 20, keep that baby for sure, because it's got a weird bonus too. It goes from 12% to 30% at 6E. So, and then there's like Zam still has evasion down, and CAD has accuracy up. Like there's all these like little, it feels like we're preparing to take down the mall meta or something like that, but there's nothing in front of us that really needs any of that. So I'm wondering if sometime there's something coming. I wonder if there's something coming eventually. I don't know, that's a month or 3, like I said, 3 years, but I know they plan out the game far, far in advance of things actually, hitting the floor, getting to us. So it's possible that it might come around. I throw most of my accuracy arrows away, but if I get a gold one that has a speed secondary on it, I do keep it. I don't roll it. I don't waste credits on it, but I will kind of like, squirrel away a few of those. Just like, for instance, the critical avoidance arrows. We were tossing all of those away. We're like, these are silly. And now the Treya meta. So if you have a critical avoidance arrow that has 20 or 30 speed on that, and you stick that on Scion with a bunch of defense mods and protection and health, and whoa, you try and kill that guy, right? So that has come back into fashion, or not back into fashion, it's come into use for the first time. So the accuracy arrows, I don't think speed is ever going away. I would, and even if it is, you can take speed off everything else and leave it on your accuracy arrow. So if you have one with speed secondaries, maybe keep some of those.
All right. Next question for War. This is from Verge Grande. Question for Warrior. With all the trays in my arena, I've been losing a lot of sleep. What tips do you have for a better night's sleep, or is there some magic position or number? So this is like a Star Wars question, Warrior, and a matches question. Both in your wheelhouse.
Oh,
yeah, he needs to message me, and I can make sure to get him better sleep.
Have you checked out this brand?
Losing sleep over why?
I don't know why. It's
in arena or territory war?
I have a question. I'll ask it since it's my up, and that was kind of a lame question. Sorry in advance for insulting you who asked the question, but yeah, because that was a troll question a little bit. Where now on SWGOH.gg can you find your Zeta count, not your Zetas, but your Zeta count in comparison to your guild. It used to be you could pull your guild up, click on Zetas, and compare everyone in the team to see how many Zetas you had in comparison to everybody, and you could even pull up other guilds and see who had. And I used to know like how I compared to other people and how many I had. But ever since the new update on SWGOH, I can't find anything but my own Zetas. That's it. I can't find my teams or other teams.
They changed that?
Look at that.
Hey.
Yeah, they seem to get rid of that now. There's
a lot of spreadsheets. There's a lot of spreadsheets that compile that data. I can see what I have that kind of like go into SWGOH and summarize everything. So I'm
always just curious, like who has the most Zetas and who has what Zetas, and I used to look at who's Zetaing what to kind of see where people's minds were, and I can't look at any of that anymore, and it's just weird that they would take that away. But so yeah,
that is interesting. I didn't know that they had done that. I don't know. All right, here's another question for you then, Warrior. Is there any reason to refresh the mythic tier of these events for the mods? Doesn't seem like a good idea.
No, I mean, it's 600 is ridiculous crystals. That's a lot of refreshes in all of the other energies that are more important. And for me, I just got a bunch of mods this morning from the event tiers and stuff. And I got like 4 of them with speed. I rolled them all, and speed was the only thing not to roll. So I just wasted a bunch of credits. It's super annoying, but hopefully that means my bad luck's gone, and the next time I get a mod, I'll have it roll really high. So that'd be cool. But I don't know. To get a bunch of worthless mods again and get, a tiny bit of gear, it just doesn't seem worth 600 to me. I mean, if you happen to do it and get one that had speed and it rolled, then yeah, that would be worth it. But that's so RNG dependent, and 600 crystals is a lot of refreshes in mod energy that you could use to get a lot of mod pieces to roll your existing mods. And people ask all the time, do I recommend you farming for mods now? The answer is, if you're farming for mods, you're wasting energy. Don't ever, from this moment forward, farm mods, ever. The way you get mods is through events. They now are dumping mods on us through events, and you want to just take them and expose all your mods to see what has speed or what has whatever variable thing you want, and then when you find a mod you like, roll it up, and then work with your existing mods, and then buy out of the store with credits or ship credits. But don't waste your energy on actual farming of mods, and you're going to get an influx of mods, decent mods, no matter whether you do farming or not now, which is really nice that they've incorporated it into so many events. But keep your eye on the store at every reset. About 4 times a day you can look at that store and find potentially mods in there that are worth getting. And what I say is worth is gold with 5 or 6. You'll never see a 6, even though it's theoretical, but a 5 speed showing. A gold with 5 speed. Those, even if they don't roll your speed, you'll at least still have a +5 speed on your mods.
All right, next question for King Felix. This is from World Goal 128 question. Is it possible to create an alt and just go over to a guild you're facing and check out which teams they have on defense for territory wars?
Well, I mean, not
possible,
because your alt would be, if you're creating it right now, your alt would be not worth it for the guild you're facing to get. But if you there are players who run like 5 or 6 accounts. I know, right? Can't do it. I tried to do 2, and it still was too much. But for some of those people who do have like 2 really good accounts, you could do that. I think it's cheap. I don't think you should, because and the other thing is, if you're not good enough to beat a guild in territory war straight up, then you don't deserve to beat them at all. So there's no reason. You might think that's a strategy, but it's cheap, and I advise you not doing that. Plus, they'll figure it out as soon as they'll figure it out.
This guy's got 0 attacks.
Yeah. He put Tusken Raiders and Gear 3 Ewoks in for defense. What's going on here? And they'll figure you out, and you'll be ostracized in moments. So
you also have no idea who you're facing until Territory Wars is locked, so you can't even go in and see it if you get into the guild afterwards.
Right.
You need an alt on every guild in your GP range.
Yeah. You could sneak into their Discord and look at their stuff, but I have not resorted to espionage yet.
So, yeah. You can join their guild afterwards, T. You won't be able to participate, but even if you're not part of it, you can go and look at the map as somebody
Can you
not...
look at the map?
Mhm.
I don't think you can.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if you haven't entered, you can view the map. Like a spectator view.
Oh,
or
can
something.
you? Oh, interesting. I make everybody join, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know about your...
Iron Fist.
Your dictatorship role in your guild, T-Money. But that's just how Canadians roll. But she's very nice when she does it. It's weird.
Join TW! Sorry.
Next question, T-Money from Fat Tony 99. How is Phoenix using Sabine instead of Ezra for territory wars? My Ezra got pulled away to my Jedi team.
So you don't have Ezra, and how is that for territories? I mean, Phoenix, it really depends on how geared you have them. They're, a really geared Phoenix, other than, let's see, Treya, I'm not sure about Night Sisters. They'll go up against Crew. They'll go up against Bastila. They'll Phoenix will take down a lot. And I love Sabine. I like Sabine way more than I like Ezra. Just like as independent tunes. But of course, Ezra has to be on that. It doesn't have to be on that Jedi team, but you're not gonna put Sabine on that Jedi team. So she's great. The amount of damage that she deals, her armor shreds. She's super useful. I'm curious if she would be even more useful versus Bastila on Phoenix versus Bastila. But yeah, she's Phoenix. I think for them to really shine, they have to be maxed, at gear 12 with at least 3 Zetas. Below that, for us, our guild is 184 million GP. So for us, you were not to use a gear 10 and 11 Phoenix team on offense in our territory wars, and you're not going to see that on defense in territory wars. They're just warming the bench. They have to be, tanky, and the person behind them has to be well practiced in them as well. Phoenix are weird. Like a lot of times, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you hit the auto button for Phoenix, the AI plays it better than you will play it. It's just a weird thing. It's like, I'm losing this battle, and then auto, and it's like, I won this battle. They're a funny little team. But Sabine's great tune.
All right, there's a follow-up question for you, Warrior. This is from BS Paul 96. Question: follow up on the recommendation for mod purchases. Do you look for a particular set bonus on purple gold mods with 5 speed plus?
I mean, yeah. If there's specific mod sets that I'm looking for, or mod secondaries I'm looking for, things like that, I always try to make sure it looks like an optimal mod. But at the end of the day, I'll take a suboptimal mod with chance of rolling. I know a lot of people that look at green with disdain now because they know that green has been reduced to 25% chance versus the 100% chance it had once upon a time. But I actually recommend people not only slice their green mods, but actually buy green mods if it shows speed, because you have at least, with the green mod, they're the cheapest, and you have 3 more attempts at that speed that you can see rolling. Even though it's only a 25% chance, it's still 3 more chances, whereas other mods, like a gold mod has 4 chances, but it's so much more expensive. And so, green in my eyes is still, because of the cost, because that you're going to get screwed half the time or more in it actually rolling. Green is still the least investment for the greatest potential gain. And slicing wise, it takes the least amount of slicing materials to slice green. And so, if you've got one that's got 10 or 11 speed, you've already gotten, a guaranteed roll once. So now you roll it a few more times to see if that 25% can proc on the speed. I've gotten, tons of, my what I would call average mods that are like 10 or 11 speed to go up to anywhere from 14 to 17. So that's a really good mod after that. So, and those were all green, and I did that at the beginning. And then I focused on now 6E mods, but that's just where I'm at with like ships and stuff. Crazily enough, I'm doing 6E mods for ships, not even for regular arena.
There you go.
That's interesting, Warrior. So for you, you think that the green? I know that it's cheaper to buy the green mods, right, than the gold, but then you have to worry about like the credits and everything for the slicing of getting a green up to a gold, anyways, in order to get like those 4 attempts. So you think it still balances it out to work on the greens instead of the golds if you're buying them?
Absolutely, because you have to find a good one first, and I have just as much problem getting a gold and slicing it and wasting credits on it too, and then it not rolling on speed too. So it's a wash in that sense, in my opinion. But especially if you're slicing, you're looking at your existing inventory, you can't slice the gold. So I mean, unless you want to go to 6E, which is extremely expensive, 100 are the hardest to get pieces at 14 energy per drop with a lower drop rate, whereas the green are 8 to 10 on energy use, and the drop rate's nearly 200%, 300% on those pieces. So you're able to slice far more green than you are even to get one. I can slice 3 or 4 green in one day. I can only do 1 6E mod every other day for what I spend. That's 4 mods improved versus 1 mod improved, and 6E jump gives me, if it's got speed primary, 2, if it's got speed secondary, 1. Whereas a green mod, if it doesn't roll, I've lost a little bit. I've invested a little, but it's still got 10 or 11 speed on it, was where it started. So if it ends up giving me 6% protection or 7% potency, like, it's still going to be a really good mod, even if speed doesn't roll. And if it does roll, then it's going to go from being an average mod to a god mod. And it was, at least the slicing material was cheaper on the lower levels than it is on the highest levels. So because with the gold mod, you get 25% chance for it to roll 4 different times. With a green mod, you already got one of the rolls 100% of the time. So now you only have to get 25% for the last 3. So your odds are already better because you already got the guarantee on the first. And that's
For the old green mods, you mean?
Yeah, all of them that are in your inventory that we're slicing.
Right. But not for the new ones, right? Would you do the same thing for the new ones? In the store buying,
if I find a green mod that has 5 speed, I'll still buy it. I'll roll it up to 9 to show the other 3. Stats, and then I'll pop it one time from 9 to 11. This doesn't cost a lot in credits at all. And then once I can see what if the speed's going to roll or not, if it doesn't roll the first time, then I'll still keep it because it's still a green mod that shows speed and it has 3 more attempts. And if it does pop, then I'm really excited because now I've got a mod that has probably 8 to 11 speed secondary with 3 more attempts. But either way, it's a win-win. No matter what, because you have speed showing, and you have so many attempts to roll that speed up,
That's the way I look at it, is basically all of the mods in your inventory now are gold mods waiting to happen. They just take, take currency. And something that I did last. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say really quickly, it was something I was very excited about. Something that I did last week was just revealed all of the secondaries on all of the mods that I had. So, I took a blue mod and I rolled it twice just to see what was underneath there. And I ended up getting like a few mods in the double digits of speed after that because, I was like, oh, there's speed underneath. What do you know? And then, and then roll it. So that's just kind of a fun little, rainy day weekend activity to go through all of your mods and reveal all of the all of the secondaries to see if there's speed or flat offense or anything under there.
Yeah, and so I guess my whole point is that this comes down to cost. And if you're spending 4 million credits on one mod and it doesn't proc, which it probably won't, you just wasted a ton of resources. But if you use that same amount to buy 2 or 3 of the green mods that have speed, you now increased your chance of rolling speed 2 to 3 times. And it's not a worse mod because you can get it to a gold mod through slicing down the road, and it's cheaper to slice than the gold mods are anyway until it gets to a gold level status. So it just, for me, it's like how many attempts at speed can you give yourself, and the more attempts the better. I mean, because it's a numbers game, right? It's not like, you know, you can just buy 1 gold mod and it's guaranteed to roll, and so it's worth the investment. It very well won't be worth the investment, and then you have no chance of proccing it down the road with slicing. So with green, at least you know you have the speed there, and then you get those attempts to proc it through that. And I've had pretty good luck at the 25%. I mean, probably a third of the time. Well, statistically 25% of the time, but it feels like about a third of the time my speed rolls. In fact, I rolled 1 mod for a friend, a green one, last night for him, just to see. It was a 9, and I got 4, so he went up to 13 speed. He was all excited, and it was just because I was showing him what I'm telling you guys right now. The green mods are gold to me. They really are, and they'll eventually be gold, but they're cheap to see about speed. Instead of investing a lot to see about speed, you're investing a little to see about speed.
All right. Next question for King Felix. It's for the panel, but we'll go with you first, King Felix. That's from Brad SWGOH. Question for the panel. How would you feel about what if events, like the release of a light side old Anakin or dark side Ezra?
I wouldn't like that personally. I would appreciate them staying, and I'm not going to say the canon, but the general feel of Star Wars, because I like Legends EU more than canon most of the time. But like the what if, Anakin defeated Obi-Wan, and that it's not really, it's fun to think about, but I would prefer they stick with what is instead of what's not.
There you go. And last question, we'll kind of throw this around to everybody. We'll start with you, T-Money. This is from Andrew Wallach. Question, how many refreshes are y'all doing on which hard nodes, specifically for farming for legendary journey events?
I am doing, let me just check here. I'm really torn right now. I might stop doing Bosk to focus on the KOTOR tunes. But I've got Bosk, Vandor, Chewie, and then young Lando in the ships. What I'm thinking now is that I was thinking that it was going to be a solo legendary event, and with this smugglers event coming up, I think that's going to be the use of our solo tunes. I think that it doesn't make a lot of sense to have the smugglers being used, and there's so much overlap with solo, and then have another like solo legendary event on top of that. Again, I don't know, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It feels like that's where our tunes are going to be needed, and then we'll need like a 6-star or 7-star to get the maximum level for that smugglers for the smugglers event. So I'm kind of like, okay, maybe I'll stop. I have enough, like, because we have the vets. Anybody who knows Ray has the vets and they're smugglers. So I have my smugglers. That's done. So I'm really thinking that if we do get a KOTOR tune, just because people are ferocious about KOTOR, it's possible that that's going to be a villain's journey or some sort of journey event. So I'm nervous. I want to get my tunes up to 7-star. That said, I'm sorry, I should know this, but is Luke the only hero's journey we've had?
No, Ray.
Ray was heroes as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and I guess, okay, so Ray, there is precedent for that with regards to BB-8 needing an event in order to get Ray. So it has been a little bit more complicated because CLS, anybody who'd been playing the game since start really should have had those tunes. I didn't have old Ben and I had to panic farm him, but I was the exception to the rule. Most people just had them because they were sensible players. I play a little bit differently sometimes. But KOTOR, I don't know if all the characters being so new, if it would be, required 7-star, but I need to put myself close enough to there to be within shooting distance of that, because I don't like missing those events.
Okay. We actually have a couple more questions from Discord, so we'll keep going on here. We got 2. Warrior, next question to you. If you wanted to increase special damage or physical damage individually, is there any way to do that with mods, or is it just offense that increases both?
Yes, offense increases both. And if you have a special damaged character, they're more than likely never going to crit, so you want to put offense and load them down with offense as much as possible. With physical damage character, if they're below like 2200 damage, you probably want to focus on offense, but otherwise, if they're in the 2500 to 3500 range on offense already or higher, then you definitely want to actually continue to focus on crit chance, crit damage for those characters.
Very nice. Let's see. Next one, and this is the last regular question. Then we'll get to some couple. No, wait. Is there another one? All right. There's another one. Nope. Is there? No. Fan, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. So the next question for you, King Felix, for the heroic Sith raid and people using Night Sisters in Phase 3 now, which is the better leader, Zeta for Night Sister, Ventress or Talzin?
Without having either of them Zeta, I believe it's Mother Talzin for the raid, but if somebody knows better than me, you're welcome to correct me.
You can get a bigger score with Talzin than you can with Ventress. You can the top recorded score that I've seen is 24 million in P3, moving from P2 into P3 with a Mother Talzin lead with the Deathstorm team. And so you can definitely get a higher score there. However, it kind of imbalances your raid teams a little bit, because then P4 becomes what do you use in P4? So you kind of have to shift things. You have to shift things around. And the 24 million score, you're not going to get that. You have to have a Gear 12 zombie, unless you have a Gear 12 zombie, and you have a pimped out acolyte, and that's a oh no, you don't have to have a pimped out acolyte for that score. You definitely need to have a pimped out zombie, but the acolyte is, you don't need to have her maxed. I don't know if it's if your score will increase with a higher gear acolyte or not, because she's one of the ones who's coming back from the dead to do damage. But yeah, I've run it and I've got I don't know, not a lot. It's hard to manage, 7 million, maybe 5 million, 7 million, something like that. It was not impressive. And it's difficult. It's as difficult to set up as Chex Mix, I would say.
And then anybody in the panel wants to answer this last one. This is from Captain Obvious. Question: how long is the 8 times hard node sim going to be around for? They didn't give a specific time frame for this, so I don't know.
Until it's gone.
Yeah. It was around for a little while last time, and then it went poof. And we didn't know. So
I think we got it for 3 months last time, approximately, and it was right when we started feeling like it was the new normal. They dropped it back down. I just want a friendly reminder, everybody. It used to be 3.
Yeah.
Appreciate the 8.
Yeah. Be thankful.
And the 25.
Yeah, the 25.
Yeah, 25 is amazing too.
25 is permanent?
No, I think that's temporary too.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
For a limited time, they said. So.
These are the hints that you are looking for, everyone.
Yes, farm.
Do not complain. If you're not refreshing your nodes for 25 crystals, I do not want to hear you complain that there are surprises coming up. Thank you very much.
I want it to be 10 crystals.
It's no.
Keep going down. It should be free. You should get 16 free.
I find that we have a couple of 100% free-to-play players in my guild, and I try and look for what's coming always, and try to just kind of look in my crystal ball, sit and meditate, figure out what's next. And, for Rey, I was like, it's obvious, like all the pictures are like Rey and the veterans, it's like, we're going to need the veterans to get this character who's obviously going to come because she's, this iconic character in the movie that's out right now. And so we farmed them, and all of my free-to-play players unlocked Rey the very first time. So I find that the company always allows for an avenue for free-to-play to get things as long as it's a very aggressive free-to-play. So all of my free-to-play players, they always have 20 to 30,000 crystals in the bank that are just there and waiting for when the inevitable surprise comes. And it's like, oh, you need to have, the veterans. It's like, okay, well, I need another, 100 shards of each or 60 shards of each, or I'm not going to get it on the last day of the event, and then they can buy those. So, in order to be free to play in this game, you have to be extremely disciplined. You have to think ahead. You have to have crystals in the bank. You cannot go on tangents, but it can be done because my free to play players will get the legendaries every single time they come out on the first time.
All right.
And they need to, or they get in trouble.
They get punched in the face. Canadian style. All right, now it gets to some fun questions. Let's see here. Nathaniel Miller question, non-game. Any updates from our friends in the Storm's Path? Last we heard, Finn, everyone was doing okay, right?
Yep, McVenom is doing okay. She's posting on her Twitter, and we're retweeting it on ours. Ouchie is fine, and there have been a few casualties, unfortunately, with the hurricane. There was a tree, I think, that fell on a house and killed a mother and her child.
Tree, Jesus.
Yeah. But overall, there haven't been a lot of casualties overall with this storm. So I think overall most people are safe, which is good to hear.
Yeah. Sith Gorilla question. Question. I know most people hate Jar Jar himself, but couldn't a full team of Gungans be interesting? Not with Jar Jar.
Misa they have would
Misa killed Traya in one shot.
Would you just not be able to damage them for 4 minutes, and then the shields fall, and then you just have to kill them super quick?
Oh God. Danilo Papayas question for Warrior. Have you already bought a cape and shirt with scissors on it to really become Scissor Man Warrior?
That would be awesome. That would be really fun to have. I'll wear that on one of my videos for sure.
That is great. Awesome. Darth Hideous question. What blameworthy acts has Finn committed this morning? Well, we've got the hurricane. I think there were some fires in New England.
He also woke up. He woke up.
Yeah.
I didn't have any Twinkies this morning.
My
in my mailbox
from running yesterday. I blame Finn for that. I'm about to go do another run today, so I blame Finn for that. Anything bad going on in anybody's life or annoyance that you want to blame on Finn? You can go right ahead.
My house is messy.
Finn. Damn it, Finn. Really?
Damn it. I think Ramon came in. Ramon, sorry.
Yes.
Why do you show up the last minute? Damn it, we've got to figure something out to get you here on time.
What's up, right? It's Ramon.
It's actually Ramon, yes.
Ramona.
Oh yeah.
But, you know what it is I've been going. Lord Skunk a long time ago called me Remon, and ever since then it's just kind of stuck. So I've just allowed people to say it.
Ramon.
Without correcting them.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with Remon. It's okay. It's actually pretty. It's actually. I even call myself AKA Remon on my shows now. I mean, so it's like it's like.
You know what I'm not okay with? It's calling Skunk Lord Skunk. I don't know why. I just can't say that. Skunk is fine, but I'm not calling anyone Lord. It's just not happening.
Well, I mean,
I am the king, though.
But yeah, I mean, my name is Ramon, and I've gotten actually away from doing the AKA thing now because I feel like it's just it's kind of tired and stupid at this point.
Yeah, we'll just call you not Ramon.
Just call me just not Remon.
Yeah,
you know,
or not Remon. Yeah, there you go.
But it's okay if you do call me Remon. I still love you. So it's not the end of the world. I know my name is spelt in an odd way. It's spelled Remon. It's not really the traditional Ramon, but it's just like if you pronounce it like the French way, like my mom had intended. My mom. I'm going to give you a little deep cut here. Okay, my mom is Swiss, and Swiss mothers typically like to name their kids with like a French name.
Sure.
And so Remon's actually spelt in the French style. Mm-hmm. So it'd be like with like a roll of the tongue, like Ramon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's how you would say it.
Well, I think the moral of the story is that we need to blame Finn.
That sounds like a good idea.
And we need Grande to translate his name.
No, God in heaven, no.
Grande is our French master.
Where is Grande? Is he doing all right?
He's in the process of getting their house settled and stuff like that. And
he moved recently, so he's getting all his stuff set up.
They had to get the house and close the house. I think they closed the house on the 21st, 22nd. So hopefully he'll be in a little bit better situation to hang out with us a little bit more. But for the next week or two, still up in the air. He comes on when he can. He goes roboto, and it's just...
Speaking of calling people Lord, I would call Warrior Lord if you wanted. I'd call him Lord Warrior.
I call him Poop Sting. I don't know about Lord.
I'd call him Lord. Why not? Listen, this is in the 1600s. Okay, Lord doesn't mean what it used to.
No. I don't know. How do you feel about being called Lord Warrior?
It's more of a respect. It's more of a respect thing. You know what I'm saying?
No,
it's like
just
Warrior.
Just Warrior. Yeah.
Warrior is a we're like the people with no faces. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like everyone's a warrior potentially. You know what I mean? So like I am one of them. I am one of the masses. Everybody who's a warrior understands.
That's right.
Well,
it's like being a count. Like Count Dooku. You're Count. They call me Count Ramon or Count Remon.
Duke Warrior.
Yeah.
We could also have Peasant Finn.
Damn it, Finn!
I like Peasant Finn.
Sir Warrior. We can go Sir Warrior if we can get him a knighthood. There you go.
He has the nameless one.
Yeah.
Sir Warrior sounds good.
Samurai Warrior.
I would do Sir Warrior because my first name's really William, and Sir William is what my mom called me growing up.
Sure. See?
It was cute.
Everyone talk about your moms.
All right, Warrior's gonna change everything. YouTube, Twitter, everything goes on to Sir Warrior Presents. That actually has a nice ring to it.
Gonna develop a British accent, like, hey, welcome back to Warrior Presents. Charlie, good. Well, let's give you a question here, Remon. Since you showed up, we got to give you at least one question. It's from our friend Grim. It is a fun question. Well, I don't know if it's a fun question, but question. Do you think that after this next legendary, they will put Thexan and Arkin into the game? Finn, you're a piece of crap. And Grim, you're just as awful because you know better.
No,
he's not asking you.
See if I help you with your stream tonight. Yeah, that's how it is.
I don't think Thexan and Arkin are coming anytime soon.
No, I don't either. And the running joke is that the people, I got asked about the Eternal Twins, and for some reason they just kept asking about the damn same question. Like, no, it's pretty much the same answer I gave before, and now it's just become this thing. So
it's just one of those things where, how cool would that be? Yes, but do I see it as a possibility? Absolutely. I think that. Maybe after Revan drops and all that stuff, and then maybe like afterwards they can revisit it, and maybe we'll get Valkorion too, or Vitiate,
the sister, the two brothers, the mother, make that a full Eternal Throne team. Yeah,
having Valkorion in the game would be sick. You know what I'm saying? But but yeah, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Listen, we have. We have some characters that I didn't think would be in this game that are in the game now. I didn't think they were going to go Darth Treya.
No. A year ago today, we were like, what?
I didn't think they were going Darth Treya, but they did. So, yeah. So if those things are possible, then anything is possible. So, I mean, we could get Star Killer at some point. I mean, I actually did a video on the last live show. We did a top 5 where we talked about the top 5 characters we'd like to see come into the game. And one of them I mentioned, somebody hated me for saying this in my comment section, but I was talking about that episode of Rebels where they talked about the first Mandalorian Jedi, the Tar Vizsla.
Yeah.
That would be cool. You know, so I don't know. I mean, I felt like somebody told me maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I don't know. I feel like Dave Filoni's the type of guy that sets up Easter eggs and he sets up things for the future, and I don't think that he would mention something like that unless he was planning to kind of incorporate that into some future Star Wars content. I mean, I don't know why he would.
We got a lot of it coming.
Yeah, why would you create this whole like legend about the first ever Mandalorian Jedi if you're not going to pay it off somehow at some point?
There you go. All right, that's all the questions. Now we are going to let everybody pimp their stuff, and I'm going to let Warrior go first because I know this is when he's on his way to work, or if he's not at work already. So, Warrior, where can folks check you out at?
They can check me out on YouTube at Warrior Presents or on my roster reviews channel at Warriors Roster Reviews. The roster reviews, while they're not anything spectacular editing-wise, it's just me going over people's rosters. Surprisingly has a ton of golden nuggets. All of my patrons who do watch say they learn something every single video, and it's evolving kind of like the game evolves. So my advice is evolving in every one of them. So if you're one of those guys that you're just looking for good territory wars advice, good territory battles advice, some basic Sith raid teams or other raid teams or some arena advice, things like that, that channel's actually got way more meat and potatoes than my main channel. As far as my main channel, I do try and bring out 3 or 4 videos a week. Sometimes it's only 2, but and cover lots of different random topics about the game. I do focus on education and not entertainment. So while I may be funny at a moment here or there, that's not my priority. My priority is to try and get you to walk away from my video with something greater than you had walking in, knowledge but wise. So yeah, that's my focus. Warrior Presents on YouTube.
All right. Ramon, since you decided to pop your head in here, where can folks check you out at?
Well, I have a YouTube channel at Ramon Azab, and do a weekly live show with good old Maurice, who's also a part of T-Money's channel, Operation Metaverse, and we do weekly top 5s. I also am a game changer with Warrior and T-Money, and we try to create content that can kind of give you an advantage, or at least some sort of an insight into different ways you can accomplish your goals in the game. And I don't know, I try to put it up 2 to 3 videos a week. Sometimes that's possible, sometimes it's not. But I definitely have some things coming up. I've also gotten some more equipment that's coming in now. So I mean, I should have some cool stuff. I have a green screen coming, so I'm going to be cool like Warrior and be standing in front of your. Yeah. I'm going to be able to do that. So
wow.
So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, definitely check us out on Sunday night. Me and Maurice, midnight Eastern time. So we'll be on tomorrow. All
right. Hey, too many, eh?
Hey.
Hey, why don't you tell those folks up there from Canada where they can find you out, eh?
Indeed. So yes, good old Maurice and I have a channel called Operation Metaverse. You can find us on YouTube. I have my own personal Twitter that's just kind of very sporadic, T-Money G on there. But I do try and tweet out. I'm gonna get better. I do try and tweet out the news, and I'm gonna try and get a little better at that. We have a Hopin Discord, discord.io/Operation Metaverse, all one word, and it's Hopin. And a couple nights ago, we all went into Twitch, and I streamed for the first time, and they watched me fail with bounty hunters because I really don't use bounty hunters at all outside of Boba and 88. But that was so much fun to do that, and sort of just tossing teams around and such on the test account. And we stream Thursday night on Operation Metaverse at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we release a video each week that we usually cover somewhat in our live stream. And the one that we have up right now is Zam Wessel taking down the new Zam, reworked Zam, taking down Night Sisters and Nest quite handedly. And then we also released last week Veteran Han killing Treya under Kira. So that's a really fun video too.
All right, King Felix, anything you want to shout out, my friend?
Watch all these people's channels.
There you go. Word. Thank you for your service, my friend. All right, Finn, you want to pimp our stuff here?
Make sure you watch everyone's channels.
I hate you so much.
Shut up.
Wrong. Try again, Finn.
I'll pimp your channel.
Yeah. T-Money, why don't you pimp our channel, because Finn seems to be a butthole today.
Wonderful. Tune in on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to the longest running live stream in the history of our game, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, where the RSG crew goes over the news for the week in depth and dives into all sorts of wonderful things. Always a lot of fun. If you're not there, you're not going to get the inside jokes, folks. Also, every lunch hour at 12 p.m. Monday through Friday, Finn and Ranger and friends get together and do roster reviews, and it's a wonderful way to lighten up the middle of your workday and take you out of the workday doldrums, right? I'm getting all the keywords. And then what else, guys? You have tons of other games that you're doing right now. Is the Magic the Gathering up and running already?
No, where are we up with that, Finn? Because
we're still working on it. We're gonna try some stuff here. We started to record some stuff, and we might start with some recorded videos before switching to live. Because live is a little bit difficult with different people playing in different locations and making sure we get a good view and everything. So we are starting to record some videos, and we'll try and get that out. We do Dungeons and Dragons on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, where Ranger is the dungeon master. I am playing an eccentric little gnome, and we just kind of have fun.
And it's just the two of them.
No, a little bit more too.
I'm just kidding.
No,
Where would you like to go now, gnome?
My gnome tends to talk a lot, though, because he is the gnomish bard. He is the people person of the group, and so he tends to do a lot of the speaking, and so he's an eccentric little fellow. Then we also do Borderlands on Tuesday nights right now, and so if you guys are able to watch, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notifications of when we go live.
Yep. And then, of course, you're watching this is the Jedi Academy. We do this every Saturday from 10 to 12, which is we've been wrapping up right now. And we bring the best and the brightest of game changers and YouTube together and sprinkle a little madness of RSG. And, and make sure you guys, not just for this video, but make sure you check out these other channels. Make sure you give them the thumbs up on their videos. Make sure you support these folks. They come out here on their own dime, on their own time, to bring you the information that you need to help you with your game. So it's the least you can do is support them in some way. Even if you just give them a thumbs up on one of their videos, that's a big deal. Subscribe to their channels, especially, that really helps them with content and monetization and stuff. And this stuff's important to keep channels like this and these guys going. So make sure you support all of their endeavors. And then people have been asking me about the Battlefront stuff. I'm kind of waiting to see when they're going to announce when they're putting out the next Battlefront stuff. And then once they do, then we'll hit it hard and heavy again. But it's the same stuff over and over again. I may do some Battlefront. Van's been really busy with school, and it's kind of like we want to just keep kicking everybody's butt in heroes versus villains and things of that nature. So, but yeah, we'll get some more Battlefront stuff to you guys soon here, even if I just stream myself. So, to all of our folks in North Carolina and South Carolina, be safe. Please take care of yourself and look out for one another. This storm is no joke. The winds have died down, but the flooding is real. I'm just watching the news, and the flooding is crazy how bad it is. So be safe. Don't take any chances. Get to high ground, look and just take care of yourself. We'd like to keep around as viewers for as long as possible. So on behalf of myself and our guest and the rest of the RSG crew, thank you for being here today for the Jedi Academy. And y'all have a wonderful weekend, and we will holler at you later. Peace.